A powerful earthquake struck the central Philippines late Tuesday night, leaving devastation across Cebu and the surrounding islands. The magnitude 6.9 quake, recorded as shallow by the U.S. Geological Survey, struck off the northern tip of Cebu near the city of Bogo, home to 90,000 residents. Overnight, hundreds of aftershocks rattled the region, further fueling panic and fears of collapsed buildings. As of Wednesday, officials reported over 50 deaths, with at least 53 confirmed fatalities listed by Cebu Provincial Hospital, including 30 from Bogo alone. Another 154 people have been injured. However, the Office of Civil Defense warned the situation remains fluid, with the death toll expected to rise as more reports come in from remote villages. Hospitals have been overwhelmed. At Bogo Provincial Hospital, injured patients, including children, were rushed outside onto beds laid under blue tents, as the hospital building itself was evacuated over fears of collapse. Medical staff struggled to cope with the volume of serious injuries, with some patients being moved to other hospitals already at capacity. Governor Pamela Barriquatro appealed for medical volunteers on social media, acknowledging that many patients had to be treated in makeshift conditions outside. Tragic stories emerged from the ruins. Richard Goyon, a 39-year-old resident, described how he and his wife were pulled from under a collapsed wall of their home by their teenage son. "When the cement collapsed, I called out to him," Goyon recalled, crediting his son's quick action for saving their lives. Rescue teams worked tirelessly through the night, fearing many more people could be trapped beneath debris. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology confirmed more than 379 aftershocks shook the region within hours of the main quake, further complicating rescue operations. Scenes of destruction were widespread. In Bantayan Island, residents watched in shock as the belfry of a historic Catholic church collapsed into its courtyard. In Cebu City, 100 kilometers south of the epicenter, panicked crowds fled malls, and bridges swayed violently. Local television captured motorcyclists abandoning their bikes and clutching bridge railings as the ground roared beneath them. Infrastructure damage is extensive. Roads in northern Cebu split with cracks as wide as 5 centimeters, while power lines snapped, causing widespread outages across Cebu and nearby islands. Though electricity has since been restored in some areas, rural villages remain cut off. The economic toll is expected to be heavy. Cebu is a major commercial hub in the Philippines, with ports, malls and factories that feed both local and international markets. Early estimates suggest billions of pesos in damage to homes, roads and businesses. Rebuilding efforts will likely take months, if not years, in the hardest hit areas. The disaster comes at a politically sensitive moment for the Philippines. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s government, already under criticism for its handling of inflation and food shortages, now faces a major test of disaster response. Comparisons are being drawn to the devastating 2013 Bohol Cebu earthquake and Typhoon Haiyan, when slow responses sparked outrage against the Aquino administration. How Marcos manages relief and reconstruction will directly influence public trust in his leadership. Calls for transparency in aid distribution, stronger disaster preparedness policies, and accelerated infrastructure upgrades are likely to dominate political debates in the coming weeks. Opposition voices are expected to use the tragedy to highlight governance gaps, while local officials will press for greater national funding for recovery. Authorities fear the death toll could rise significantly as rescuers dig through collapsed homes and buildings in remote towns. With more than 379 aftershocks rattling the region and concerns of further structural collapses, residents remain on edge. In the coming days, the government must focus not only on humanitarian relief, but also on ensuring that this disaster does not further destabilize an already fragile political climate. For the people of Cebu and Central Philippines, however, the immediate challenge remains survival, recovery, and rebuilding from one of the strongest earthquakes in recent years.